We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast today. I am the host of this magical mystery tour we call Ole Miss Fandom, Stephen Willis. Thank you very much. From the palatial Central Florida studios, welcome to Super Regional Eve. We're going to get into today how to make a huge ballpark a little bit smaller maybe against a team that thrives on doubles and triples, largely because of how big that park is, what we can do to kind of alleviate that. We're going to talk a little bit about the recruiting show tonight debuting about, I think 9:30-ish. The link should go up for the recruiting show. That's Rebel Walk recruiting show. With Leanne Herring. That should air tonight about 9:30 Central Time. It's also available on demand, so don't fret if you're not going to be able to catch it at 9:30. It's going to be available whenever you need it. And we're also going to put it up on the pod as well. So thank you very much for joining us. I do want to let you know about the Vault Society. That's the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Big push right now is the Vault Society. It's a 5-year commitment of support, and membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the site. All gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. That'd be postseason, bowl games, neutral site, etc. If you have any questions about that, go to givetoathletics.com. That is givetoathletics.com. If you want to watch the show, we're available on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk, on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast, POMcast, and The Rebel Walk. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe. That way you'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. They have a fantastic notification system when we go live. They're pretty good to have even if you watch it on Twitter or Facebook or any of the other platforms. They do have a good notification system, so you can catch it wherever you want. And we are on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. As you can see over here on the screen, you can watch all of our shows on your smart television. Hit it up on your streaming box and check out all the goodliness that is Positively Ole Miss and the Rebel Walk and all that good stuff. We're also on audio doing podcasts. We're never going to push podcasts as the primary because there's many holes in a podcast, especially when it comes to advertising. And we do want this show to be free for you, so it needs to be ad driven. So one of the ways we can do that is a video product. And a podcast, skipping ahead through commercials. You can't put a logo on a podcast. Things like that are affecting our thoughts on that. But we're going to do a podcast. We're going to put it out there so you can listen to it. Just know that that is not the primary medium that we're going for right now. All right. Oh, yeah, we're in Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, and other small podcatchers. Tune in. Thank you very much for listening. You made the last 2 months huge. You're on pace to make this month huge as well. So thank you very much for that. So, all right. Ole Miss going to Arizona and playing in a huge ballpark. And we're talking like 360 down the lines, 402 in the gaps. Now, center field is like 390. But if you can hit it out to straightaway center, I mean, it's not much different than Oxford. But the home runs, as you've seen in Oxford, go out towards the lines and in the gaps. There's rarely a straightaway center shot. So you have a team that is thriving on doubles and triples. Their batting average is up. And how much is that because they're just a really good hitting team? I mean, probably some. I'm not saying they're not. How much of that is the park that they play most of their games in? And all that space. Because when you play in a huge park like that, it's going to affect positioning. It's going to affect familiarity. You're used to playing right field a certain way. You're used to playing center field a certain way. Well, now maybe you're shading a little bit more towards a pull. So that it can cut down the difference in the gap. Now, one way that I put out, and I did it on Twitter yesterday, and it got fantastic response, is, my thought was play game one, John Rice Plumlee in center field, because that would shrink the gaps a little bit and allow you a little bit more range in center field. It would alleviate some stress on Hayden Leatherwood. It would alleviate some stress on Kevin Graham if you knew, if that gap was shrunk, and it would be a little bit more normal playing for a corner outfielder. So that's my thought on that, because it's absolutely a huge park. It's the park that, if you want any reference on it, the movie Major League, when they filmed their spring training, was at that park. But, not overly concerned about that switch. Offensively, they're playing at about the same level offensively. John Rice is a plus defender. He's proved that. Making big play after big play out in right field, and he became the defensive replacement for Hayden Leatherwood whenever it was needed. Kevin Graham is not the most fleet of foot out in left field. I mean, that's the way it is. Hayden Leatherwood is not the most fleet of foot in right field. So we have to cut that down. So we either need to count on TJ McCants playing that role very clean. I mean, this is not on TJ. Nothing that I'm saying is about him. But to play that position in this park, it's going to require an average to plus outfielder to play clean, and more margin of error is on elite outfielders. And John Rice Plumlee has played outfield his whole life. He understands that. And this is all on the assumption that he can play center field, by the way. This is all on that assumption. He might not be able to do it. I have not seen it with my own eyes. I assume that he will. He's made enough great plays in right field. But the ball comes off the bat a certain way depending on how you want to catch a fly ball. But 360 down the lines in the alleys, over 400 feet, 390 to straightaway center field. That's the dimensions of the field. So we have to figure out a way to cut down those alleys. The largest part of the park is positioned in a way that the alleys are gonna breed triples. What would be a double at Swayze is a triple at Arizona, because of the way their park is situated. Now, we need to understand that they're probably very good players, but how much of their production is due to that space? And if so, how much of that space can we take away? I think we don't shift very much, but we might need to shift a little bit more towards the alleys. With righters up, just move over to the left and move the right fielder over. Now, if he hits one down the right field line, good for him. That's beating it. But you need to try and take away that space as much as possible. I don't really necessarily believe in an infield shift. I think that's pretty silly, and I think it's going to get beat pretty quickly over the next couple of years. people are going to lean in too much on that shift, and it's going to come back to haunt them. And it's interesting. But that is my thought. We need to figure out a way, whenever we set up the lineup, to take away space. Range is imperative in this series. Whether you're hitting the ball and all that, that's great. We get the benefit of hitting the ball in that huge park as it is. It's going to play, I think it's going to play like Hoover, but there's a chance that ball is going to jump later in the day. I just don't know how the ball is going to jump, how it's going to play. I just do not know. But I do know that park is huge, and we need to figure out how to take care of that space, because that's going to be important for this weekend. I might be the only person that's on that, but I mean it's a big part. We are going to take a short break. This is going to be a shorter show today on Super Regional Eve. Tomorrow morning we'll have Chris Molitor do his preview on site from Arizona. He's in Tucson. Tonight we have our inaugural Rebel Walk recruiting show with Lee and Harry. Got some cool stuff. Cut up some video today of prospects. So the way we're going to do that, we're not going to scatter shoot the way others might do it. We're going to hit the news of the day. We're going to give you a featured lineup of 3 players, and we're going to give you an under the radar guy. Something simple. The show is not going to be overly long, but it's going to get you the information you need, and as Jake Crane says, will help you win the water cooler. I'm thinking about unabashedly stealing that from Jake over at the J-Boy show on the Believe Network. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about that recruiting show. We're going to talk a little bit about football, and then we're going to get out and give you some time back today, because I know how valuable that time is. But in the meantime, stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the POMcast. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about the rebelwalk.com. Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job. Experts for all the sports, all the information you can possibly want. They provide a subscriber-level experience for no money. Doesn't cost you anything but time, and oh boy, is it worth it. Go over to the rebelwalk.com, check them out, and you will not be disappointed. The rebelwalk.com. We're going to do probably 5 or 6 more minutes, and then I'm going to let you go today. Not a lot of news. We're kind of the calm before the storm. And also, I need to continue building my Rebel Walk recruiting show, which, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. But I do want to talk to you about that. Now, eventually, we're probably planning on live streaming it and have contact. You can hop into the chat and ask questions and things like that. That's what we're going to eventually do. We're going to organically grow into that. But right now we are going to focus on, 3 or 4 2022s, 2023s, and, talk about it. And talk about the news of the day. Talk about what these players are doing. Talk about an under-the-radar player. And Leanne's going to give her expertise on that and all the contacts she's made. And we're going to grow this over time. It's going to be pretty fantastic once it happens. It's not going to be a lot of, word salad and just talking about players and just regurgitating stuff. As somebody that was in recruiting for 10 years before, that to me, that's not interesting. There's nothing really tangible that's coming out of that. What's going to be interesting is just like short hits of what's going on, because let's be real about this. Come third week of December on early signing day, every conversation we're having right now could be moot. It could be relevant. We don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody that says they know, they really don't know, because that's just the way that recruiting works. Now, we are going to give you the high points. We're going to tell you what's going on, and we're going to break down some video of kids, potentially. Little teaser for tonight. I expect Taylor Groves' video to make an appearance tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about Taylor, 4-star out of Tennessee, and a little bit of a long strider, by the way. He runs a little bit. I'm not calling him Devontae Smith. That's not what I'm doing. But long striders, he has a little Devontae Smith run. He has a little Randy Moss run. I'm not calling him those players. He just runs similar to them, and it just popped in my head. It's like, whoa, I've seen that before. But he's a heck of a player, and well worth keeping an eye on, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, 4-star. So we're going to cover that today. But have fun. Leanne's going to basically try to create a sports bar type atmosphere for recruiting, because at this point there are not really facts. It's all rumors. It's all innuendo, and people like that. Some people like that. Some people are completely turned off by it. But we're going to try and weed through that and give you something you can actually chew on. That's the idea. But we're going to organically grow this. We're going to, I think Leanne tonight actually is going to be audio only, but eventually she'll be video once she gets her video set up. And it's going to be really cool to see. And I think everybody should tune in and see what's going on. And you get an idea of these new players, and especially the under the radar. That was the big thing for me, was the under the radar player, because nobody talks about them. Nobody talks about them. Then they just pop up on signing day or in January, and you're like, who is this guy? Well, the process is actually going on. He's just a very under the radar guy trying to make his way. So that's what we're looking for on the Rebel Walk Recruiting Show that will air tonight about 9:30-ish Central, and should be fun. Tomorrow, Chris Muller previewing the Tucson Super Regional. I think he's there, guys. I think he is there. And if he is, we're going to talk a little bit about the game, maybe get an idea of starting pitchers. He's all over this regional right now, and it's going to be cool to see. And tomorrow we'll also do another POMcast along with the reaction show. Tomorrow's going to be a long day for me. But it's going to be so much fun because I get to talk football. I get to talk recruiting. I get to preview the Super Regional and then do a reaction of the Super Regional. And the POMcast, I can do whatever I want. That's the best part about the POMcast. I can talk about whatever's going on in Ole Miss sports that I want to. And I try to keep it on that. Some kind of tangent effect on Ole Miss sports. Because I don't want to veer off into other stuff. The stuff that you're not interested in. Because, like whenever I worked in TV, we did a study to find the perfect length of entertainment. What will people watch? And this was back for TV, so it's actually probably a little shorter now. But they came back with 26 minutes. Anything over 26 minutes is essentially not going to get watched. Now, it's probably at 20 minutes now because everything is on the small screen and stuff like that. But that's the reason we keep videos as small as they are. Because whenever taking part in that study and understanding what's going on helped me realize that you don't need a marathon broadcast of stuff with just word salads and things going on for people to watch. That's not what they want. Now, you don't want a 2-minute video either. That's not what they want. But they probably want something in that 8 to 26 range. And that's what we try to do. We try to hit that 8 to 26 range. And the Rebel Walk Recruiting Show tonight will be about 15 to 20 minutes, just like all of our other shows. We're not going to throw word salad at you where everything gets lost. We're just going to try to be as concise as possible and get to the point. And not waste your time. Because as we know, the most valuable thing going on right now that for all of us is time. So, and I appreciate every minute of it. But we're going to get out of here pretty early, I guess right now. Give you some time back. Tomorrow, whenever we hit the preview and all that stuff, we'll get going. But it's Super Regional Eve. Enjoy it. Stay loose. Be confident. Have fun. Hotty toddy.